But anyway, we have some other people who want to talk to us. So, Brennan, I hope you're ready because
Yes, absolutely.
the calls keep on coming. Next one that's coming up is from Phatman. That's Phatman spelled with PH. Phatman calling in from Oregon. Phatman, you're live on Truth Wanted. What's up?
Hey, thank you for taking my call. First of all, I want to say to Brennan, you're doing a great job, man. I hope to see you on more shows, or if you're going to start your own, I'd love to see it.
I really
With that
appreciate
said, I'm
that.
calling
Thank you.
about the. With that said, I wanted to call about the dinosaur. Oh, the guy who was talking about discovering the
Yeah,
dinosaur
saying that
fossils and finding the red blood cells.
yeah, dragons are dinosaurs, right? I mean, and dinosaurs are dragons,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah. Now, what was the lady that he said? The lady's name, the scientist that said that there were red blood cells or something like that. I can't remember
That's
the name.
that's Mary Schweitzer. So Mary Schweitzer
Okay.
is very interesting because her work obviously is controversial, but not in the sense that it's fringe. She is a real scientist. She does work in real stuff. It's more controversial in the sense of how to properly interpret her results, whether or not what they examined in the bone marrow is actually the results of protein, and whether those proteins are the results of red blood cells or collagen as well. They say that they found collagen in there. That is the kicker, and that's what people have talked about. I've read pro people who are in the science camp who support it, and people who are also, again, people know more about the stuff than I do, who also say that it might not be that kind of evidence. So it is an interesting thing to talk about.
Well, no, it was funny that you brought it up
Yeah,
because I think it was last night. I saw it's another. I like to watch a lot of these different shows,
yeah.
and I think it was Paula Gia.
Mhm.
He actually interviewed, and I'm pretty sure this is the lady because it sounds exactly like what you were saying. And she completely debunked it. She said that no, it was not. I don't remember what she said it was, but I don't think it was the protein cells or anything like
Oh,
that. She
well, I know
completely debunked it.
that's funny because I know Paul. I know a lot of other creators, and it's like I don't get to keep up with everybody's stuff. I just know too many of them now. But anyway, I don't know if he actually talked to her or not. If he did, that's really cool. I know for a fact that she has denied the claims that young Earth creationists have made, in that it's like an actual preserved, like, okay, red blood cell. Okay, that's not exactly what that discovery is. It is the sequence of proteins that would make up that of a red blood cell. Okay, so it's not like she's taking a drop of blood from a dinosaur and is looking at that blood. It's a bit more complicated than that. So that's probably what she's talking about based on what I know. But I haven't seen that particular interview, so I don't know.
Well, he actually talked to her. It's recorded. He actually interviewed her and he played the interview. And I can't remember what she said. And I just watched it last night, but then again, I don't remember half of what.
Oh, I got you.
But
I know she's not saying that her discovery wasn't important or didn't have, interesting implications. Like because there's several articles that have been written about her. Again, she was on John Perry's channel, and talked about that. So it is an interesting thing, but again, it's one of those things that folks that like Answers in Genesis and stuff will just take it and run with it. So
Uh,
yeah, and
if I
that's what she was
could
doing.
interject
There was a
quickly,
lot of.
go
Oh
ahead,
yeah, go
Brendan.
ahead. Go ahead.
it's also a similar process as to my understanding of what specifically was discovered. We have like a rough genome for dinosaur species. Like we have a rough sequence of DNA for them by taking multiple fossil samples, and what parts of the DNA have not fully like succumbed to time. We've been able to kind of create like a skeleton almost of dinosaur DNA, which has allowed us to kind of see into the past at these creatures. And as I understand it, what was discovered was not necessarily red blood cells that you and I would have going through us, but what could be identified as red blood cells. So I think maybe in a similar way to the fact that some fossils end up being fossilized, and as we're discovering them, millions of years later, there'll be a disgusting black smear on the inside of the fossil, which turns out to have been the blood inside of the creature when it died. So what happened with the person who discovered the red blood cells? I believe she had cut into a bone to study the marrow specifically, and
Yes.
had seen the telltale signs of that red blood cells inside of it, which is part of the reason that it was kind of controversial, because it was actively uh, damaging not only a fossil, but the remnants of which are going to be hard for us in the future to. There's so many fossils that we have, and we don't know which ones are going to have any kind of red blood cells in them in the same way that she found the ones that she supposedly found.
Yep.
So, how many fossils do we cut into looking for them to kind of confirm this?
Yep.
Very
Yep.
interesting,
So
though.
what you're
Very,
saying
very
sounds,
interesting.
yeah. Yeah, what you're saying sounds a lot like, as I said, it was just last night. I'm pretty sure it was just last night. And I saw it, and she was debunking a lot of young Earth, because that's what the whole thing was about, was debunking what young Earth was saying about it. And
Yeah.
like I said,
I believe it.
I really enjoy watching these shows.
I'm so
After the
glad.
Testers live, I was like, hey,
Yeah, thanks for calling in about it. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. Maybe I'll message Paul after the show or something. But yeah, I know she's talked about it in interviews and stuff, and it's very clear that it's not what a lot of people actually think it is. In that being that it's evidence for dinosaurs only being a few thousand years old. So that's the main takeaway. The specific nuances onto what are the actual implications of her discovery are far beyond my pay grade. So I'll have to leave it to her to speak on that, or anybody else in the field. But Fatman, thanks for calling in and giving your take
thank you
on that. Yeah, and thanks for letting us know about what was going on Paul's channel. Paul's pretty cool guy. I'll personal the opinions of the host of the ACA do not necessarily reflect that of the ACA. However, you should go check out Paul's channel. Paul Apology is pretty cool. He does a lot of stuff, and he hasn't been on this show in a long time, so I'll have to get him on at some point in the future.